Chapter 3: War in the Jungle. The streets of South Central were a war zone, where alliances shifted as quickly as the tides, and loyalty was bought with blood. Word of Dre's assault on Nico Bone Martinez's stash house spread like wildfire through the city. The bodies, the burning warehouse, the ruined product. It was all anyone could talk about. But in the game Dre was playing, success only painted a target on your back. Dre sat in his car, a black Impala with tinted windows, idling outside a liquor store on Crenshaw. The streets buzzed with life, but beneath the surface, tension simmered like a pot about to boil over. He knew Nico would retaliate. The question wasn't if, but when. Dre was ready for the smoke, but he knew the only way to survive was to stay ahead of the game. J-Rock was in the passenger seat, rolling a blunt with his usual calm precision. "Nico's gonna come hard, Dre. You know that, right?" Dre didn't need the reminder. He'd seen what Nico could do. The man was a snake, slithering through the streets, striking from the shadows. But Dre was no easy prey. He'd built his empire with blood and bullets, and he wasn't about to let anyone tear it down. "Let him come," Dre said, his voice low and steady. "He'll learn the hard way that the jungle ain't for the weak." As they spoke, a black SUV rolled up behind them, its headlights off. Dre's instincts kicked in. He reached for the .45 tucked under his seat, his eyes scanning the mirrors. "We got company," he muttered. J-Rock looked up, his hand slipping into his jacket where his Glock was stashed. "Stay cool," he said, his voice a whisper. "Could be nothing. Could be something." The SUV's doors swung open, and men in dark clothes spilled out, moving with the precision of a well-trained hit squad. Dre recognized the setup, a hit. Nico had sent his soldiers to take him out, and he wasn't going to give them the satisfaction. The first shots cracked the night air, shattering the Impala's rear window. Glass exploded inward, glittering like deadly confetti. Dre hit the gas, the tires screeching as he floored it, swerving out of the line of fire. Bullets ricocheted off the car, sparking like firecrackers. But Dre kept his cool, weaving through traffic as the SUV gave chase. J-Rock leaned out the window, his Glock barking in the night. The recoil jerked his arm, but his aim was true. He caught one of Nico's men in the chest, the impact sending the guy sprawling onto the pavement, his blood painting the asphalt. Another shooter popped up from the SUV's sunroof, spraying the Impala with bullets. J-Rock answered with a shot to the head, the man's body slumping over the roof, lifeless. Dre swung the car around a corner, the Impala's tires screeching as they cut through the night. The SUV was right behind them, relentless. But Dre had a plan. Up ahead, the road split, leading into the labyrinth of alleys that crisscrossed the neighborhood. Dre knew those alleys like the back of his hand. Nico's men didn't. "Hang on!" Dre growled, yanking the wheel hard to the right. The Impala skidded into the alley, the narrow walls blurring as they shot through the darkness. The SUV followed, its size working against it as it struggled to keep up. J-Rock emptied his clip, his shots sparking off the brick walls as he aimed at the pursuing vehicle. "Keep driving, Dre." "I got this!" Dre didn't need to be told twice. He kept his foot on the gas, the engine roaring as they sped through the maze of alleys. Behind them, the SUV clipped a dumpster, swerving wildly before it slammed into a wall. The crash echoed through the night, metal crunching as the vehicle crumpled on impact. Dre didn't stop to admire the wreckage. He gunned it, speeding through the alleys until they were back on the main streets. Only then did he ease off the gas, his heart still pounding, adrenaline surging through his veins. J-Rock was breathing hard, but a grin spread across his face. "That's what I'm talking about, Dre. Nico's gonna be pissed when he hears about this." Dre nodded, but his mind was already racing ahead. Nico had made his move, and it had failed. But that only meant one thing. The war was far from over. Dre knew Nico wouldn't stop until one of them was dead, and he had no intention of letting it be him. "We need to hit him harder," Dre said, his voice cold. "Take out his lieutenants, his spots, everything. We cripple his operation until there's nothing left but bones and ashes." J-Rock's grin widened, his eyes gleaming with the promise of violence. "You know I'm down for whatever, Dre. Just say the word." Dre's mind was a whirlwind of plans and possibilities. He knew where Nico's crew operated, knew their routines, their weak spots. The next move would be surgical, precise, brutal, and final. The night was still young, and the city was theirs for the taking. But in the game they were playing, every move could be their last. The only way to win was to go all in, no holding back, no second chances. Dre looked out at the city, the lights of Los Angeles stretching out before him like a sea of opportunity. This was his jungle, and he was the king. But every king needed a crown, and Dre was willing to kill for his. As the Impala cruised down the boulevard, Dre's mind settled on one thought. There was no going back. The streets had chosen him, and he had chosen them. Now it was time to show everyone why South Central belonged to DeAndre Washington, and God help anyone who tried to take it from him.